Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, you've been hoping that someone, not just someone, the someone, would show up. Maybe you thought life owed you a rescue, maybe you believed doors would open for you. But here it is, nobody's coming, not like you dreamed, not like you planned, not like you thought would save you, because when the call to greatness arrives, you're it. You ever sit in silence and ask yourself, where's the cavalry? And you feel it. Your chest tightens. That tightness is truth. That tightness means you're realizing something essential. You're alone in this. Maybe you got help along the way. Maybe you'll get help again. But the bedrock, the foundation, that's you. That's the one who gets up every morning, chooses to work, chooses to sacrifice, chooses to believe. That's the true hero of your story. Real responsibility isn't about excuses, it's about owning the control. The moment you realize nobody's coming, that's the moment you gain real power, because now you're not waiting for approval, now you're not following the crowd, now you're leading your own charge. That alone is freedom. See, when you live like someone is coming to set it up for you, you become dependent. Dependent on opinions, dependent on validation, dependent on external timing. But if you flip that narrative, you become unstoppable. You become self-driven. You become sovereignty incarnate. Nobody's going to secure your future. Nobody's going to hand you your breakthrough. The only way your life changes is your decision to act. Stop looking around for that sign, that nudge, that breakthrough, that validation, that someone. Do the work anyway. Sweat even if you're scrubbing the floors of anonymity. Hustle when your account balance is low and your spirit's heavy. Grind when the applause is empty and the audience is quiet, because legacy isn't born in a stadium. It's birthed in the trenches. I don't say this to discourage you. I say this to remind you, you've got more power than you know. That resistance, that delay, that isolation, those are proof that you're moving forward. That's the force pushing against the elevator. It means you're elevating. Most people quit before the breakthrough arrives. Most people crumble when the obvious support doesn't appear, but not you. You're the one who keeps showing up, who keeps grinding even when it sucks, who keeps faith even when the world's quiet. You say you don't have support. You say you don't have backup. Let the struggle sharpen you, not soften you. Let the absence of attention fuel you, not slow you. Let the naysayers give you oxygen, not confidence. Because at the end of the day, the difference between failure and triumph is the one who kept shooting, not the one who had the best aim at the start. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for that call. Don't wait for the crowd. Don't wait for applause. You write the invitation. You summon your opportunity. You design your stage. Then build it stronger than where you thought you'd land. You don't need an audience to begin. You begin now in the silence, in the unglamorous, low-paying, sweat-soaked seasons. That's where the foundation is built. Here's the raw truth. The moment you decide, I can't do it alone, is the moment you've already stopped. Because you're doing it alone. Everyone who's ever accomplished something significant, someone who's ever carried a purpose, they understood. Nobody coming means you've got to make it happen. And somehow, in that realization, they found lift. They found clarity. They found their own strength. You know what fear is. Fear is expecting rescue that doesn't come. Fear is believing an army's riding in when you're the general. Fear is forgetting your own capacity. But courage is different. Courage stands. Alone if it has to. Courage moves. No matter who's watching. Courage acts. Because the only moment guaranteed is the one you have in front of you right now. That fight you're in. Own it. Fight your own battles, shoulder your own burdens. Victories taste sweeter when they come from what you endured, not what someone else handed you. Feel that weight in your bones. That's your future demanding attention. That's the work of growth asked for a price, and it's worth paying. So while the world waits for signs, you show progress. While they wait for excitement, you put in repetition. While they chase validation, you chase results. You be the example they thought someone else would be. You be your own hero. That's not loneliness. That's empowerment. That's not abandonment. That's autonomy. That's not desperation. It's preparation. Every time you want to look around for support, look inside instead. Every doubt that screams, "Who's coming to help?" answer yourself, "I'm coming for me." And watch what happens then. Because when you believe you are the one, your mind unlocks a strength beyond what you ever thought possible. Do you feel that grinding inside, that relentless itch, that voice telling you this isn't over yet? That's you, that's purpose, that's destiny knocking, and it won't knock forever. Doors open once. Seasons shift, opportunities pass. Don't chase the crowd hoping someone's coming to lead you. Instead, become the leader by living it. Become the mover by moving. Become the change by being faithful to the work. You're not waiting to be rescued. You're rising. You're not relying on someone else's timing. You're generating your own breakthrough. You're not hoping for applause. You're earning it through stepping into every small moment with excellence. Because real legacy isn't given. It's built, stone by stone, sacrifice by sacrifice. It starts with a mirror, not the one you pass by every day, not the one you glance at to fix your tie or adjust your hair. I'm talking about the real one, the one that doesn't care how you look, the one that demands honesty. That mirror is where ownership begins. Because until you can look into that reflection and say, everything I'm facing, everything I haven't achieved, every weight I'm carrying, it's on me, then nothing changes. There's something liberating, terrifying maybe, but deeply liberating, about that moment when you stop blaming the world, when you stop blaming your past, when you stop blaming the job, the government, your parents, your boss, your city, your circumstances. All of it, every excuse, gone. That's where transformation begins. Because as long as you're pointing the finger outward, you're giving your power away. But when you turn that finger inward, when you take that weight and say, all right, it's mine, now you can start moving. Now you can make changes. Now you're not a victim. You're in control. Life will give you reasons to fold. It'll stack the deck against you. Maybe you didn't have the best start. Maybe you were born into chaos. Maybe you got hit with loss, heartbreak, betrayal, failure, really hard and often. That's real. But what's also real is the power you have to respond. That part right there, that's yours. That's where the story gets rewritten. That's where you stop surviving and start leading your life like it's yours. Nobody is going to live it for you. No one's coming to carry your dream across the finish line. That burden, that gift, that calling, that's your assignment. And the moment you accept that, you stop looking around for help and start looking within for answers. You start moving with purpose. Because when you take full ownership, there's no room left for excuses. You become allergic to them. They sound like noise. You hear yourself start to complain and you cut it off mid-sentence because you know that's not who you are anymore. Responsibility isn't a punishment. It's the price of greatness. It's the mark of maturity. It's the language of leaders. When you say, if it's going to be, it's up to me, you're not saying it because it sounds good. You're saying it because it is good. It's true, that mindset puts you in the driver's seat. You're not coasting. You're not drifting. You're not waiting on fate to show up and be generous. You're taking the wheel and saying, let's go. You don't need permission to change your life. You don't need a round of applause to get moving. You need clarity. You need fire. You need to stop running from discomfort and start using it. Let it shape you. Let it teach you. Let it push you further than you thought possible. Because every excuse you drop, every time you take full ownership of a mistake, a delay, a disappointment, you're getting stronger. You're sharpening your edge, and life doesn't get easy. You just get tougher. Look around. The people who rise, the people who build, the people who walk in rooms and command presence. They didn't get handed their position. They owned their journey. They decided early on, no more blaming, no more waiting. If I'm going to make it, it's on me. And every step they took from there, intentional, deliberate, focused, they weren't lucky. They were disciplined, and discipline is the ultimate form of ownership. When you stop blaming and start owning, you also stop fearing failure. Because failure doesn't define you. It teaches you, you fall, you own it. You miss, you adjust. You get rejected, you try again. Why? Because you've stopped outsourcing your worth. You've stopped waiting for things to be perfect. You've started creating your path one action at a time. Ownership also means giving yourself credit, not in arrogance, but in truth. When you show up every day, when you grind through pain, when you push through fatigue, you've got to acknowledge that effort. You're not here by accident. You're not standing where you're standing because someone gave it to you. You built this. Maybe it's small right now, maybe it's barely standing, but it's yours and you did that. You keep doing that. Taking full ownership doesn't mean you never ask for help. It means you're responsible for how you use it. You don't wait around hoping someone will rescue you. You get up, you move, and you allow the right help to meet you in motion. That's the difference. People respect movement. Life rewards momentum. And momentum only comes when you take that first step, and the next, with nobody clapping and nobody watching. If you want more, be more. If you want better, do better. Don't ask life to hand it to you. Rise up and demand it from yourself. That's where power lies, not in entitlement, not in waiting, but in discipline, in clarity, in consistency, in the unshakable belief that even if no one else shows up, you will. So the question is no longer, what's holding me back? The question is, what am I going to do about it? Because now you know. Now you understand this life, this dream, this weight, this purpose. It's yours, all of it. No one else is going to carry it, and you wouldn't want them to, because the strength, the wisdom, the grit, the glory, it comes in carrying it yourself. It gets quiet out there, doesn't it? You start walking towards something bigger, something they can't see, something they wouldn't understand, and the crowd thins out. People get uncomfortable when you stop settling. They back away when you stop playing small. That's when you find yourself standing in the middle of silence, wondering if you took the wrong path. But what you're really in is not a mistake, it's isolation. And isolation isn't the enemy. It's the proving ground, the gym, the fire, the forge. There's a reason it gets lonely at the top. Because not everyone is willing to climb. Not everyone is willing to endure what it takes to separate themselves from the noise, the distractions, the expectations. But you chose this, whether you knew it or not. The moment you decided to stop living average, you stepped away from the crowd. And yeah, it's uncomfortable, but there's power there too. You just have to learn how to sit in that space and draw from it, not run from it. See, people think strength comes from being surrounded, from having hands on your shoulders, eyes on your journey, constant affirmation. But real strength doesn't need applause. Real strength is developed when it's just you and your will. When there's no one watching, when nobody's calling to check in, when you're out there grinding in silence, that's when you learn what you're really made of. That's when you discover whether the dream is yours or just something you said out loud because it sounded good. You ever feel like you're invisible? Good. That means you've stepped out of the spotlight long enough to build in peace, because it's in isolation that you get to reset. You get to go deeper. You get to cut away everything that's shallow and superficial and get honest with yourself. There's no crowd to perform for in isolation. There's no pressure to pretend. It's raw, it's real, it's where growth lives. That's the place where the warriors are made, where the artists find their edge, where the leaders are shaped. When you don't have someone cheering you on, you have to be your own fire. You have to become your own echo, your own affirmation, that voice in your head, the one that says keep going. When you're ready to quit, that voice becomes your best ally. And that voice only gets strong when the noise outside fades away. Most people run from isolation because it feels like rejection, but what it really is separation. It's not that the world turned its back on you. It's that life is giving you space to prepare, to build, to become. What looks like abandonment is often alignment. The universe clearing the room so you can hear your next step without all the interference. But the question is, can you handle the silence long enough to receive it? There's something sacred about being alone with your goals. No distractions, no comparisons. Just you, your grind, and your purpose. You can't outsource that. You can't fast track it. There's no shortcut through the valley. You've got to walk it. And the longer you stay in it, the more you begin to understand. It was never about the destination anyway. It was about the strength you were building with every lonely step. When you embrace isolation, you stop needing people to see you. You stop craving recognition. You start valuing discipline, because discipline doesn't need a witness. It doesn't care about likes or followers. It cares about consistency. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's often silent, repetitive, painful, but it works. And the only way to develop it is by choosing to stay when others walk away. People will disappear on you. They'll doubt you. They'll distance themselves. Let them. That's not your concern. You're not building for applause. You're not walking this path to be popular. You're walking it to fulfill something bigger. Something that can't be explained in words, only proven in results. And those results, they come from the quiet hours, the early mornings, the late nights, the missed parties, the locked-in weekends. All the moments no one sees. You have to be okay with being the only one clapping for yourself sometimes. You have to be okay with being misunderstood, with being overlooked, with being doubted. Because the longer you endure that silence, the stronger your internal drive becomes. And once your drive is internal, there's nothing outside that can stop you. You become unstoppable not because of the people around you, but because of the person you become when there's no one around. You'll learn how to talk to yourself differently in isolation, how to coach yourself, check yourself, push yourself. There's no hiding from the truth in that space. No excuses, no distractions, just you and the work. And when it hurts, and you'll have to decide whether the pain is punishment or progress, whether the loneliness is a curse or a corridor, that choice is yours. The beautiful thing is, once you make peace with being alone, you're no longer afraid of it. You stop fearing people leaving, because you know you won't fall apart if they do. You stop fearing failure, because you've already failed and survived. You stop fearing silence, because you've been there, and you built something in it. So stay there, for as long as it takes. Embrace it, own it, because one day when your name rings, when your work speaks, when your vision comes to life, people will ask where you've been, and you'll smile, not because you disappeared, but because you developed. Not because you were gone, but because you were growing, and all the strength you need to carry that vision forward. It was forged in that silence, in that isolation, in that sacred space where greatness begins. Hope feels good. It feels like light in the dark. It whispers promises of better days, brighter opportunities, and eventual breakthroughs. But hope without action, that's a dream deferred. A wish waiting for someone else to pull the strings. The truth is, hope alone won't carry you through the storms. Hope alone won't get your feet moving when every bone in your body is begging you to stay still. Hope is the seed, but action is the water, the sunlight, the tending that makes it grow. You ever meet people who talk about what they want, how they're going to change their lives, build their dreams, step into something greater? They hope, they pray, they say the right things, but when you watch closely, you realize they're standing still, talking loud, but their feet don't follow. Hope without action is a heavy burden. It weighs you down with unmet expectations and keeps you stuck in the same place. The only difference between those who succeed and those who don't is this: those who succeed act. Action is the great equalizer. It doesn't care about your background. It doesn't wait for perfect timing. It doesn't care how tired you are or how many times you've failed. Action says, enough waiting, enough hoping. I'm moving now. And that movement, no matter how small, no matter how slow, starts a ripple that changes everything, because action builds momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence opens doors that hope alone can never unlock. It's easy to get caught up in waiting for the right moment. You tell yourself, when the time is right, I'll start. But here's the thing, the right moment doesn't come gift-wrapped. The right moment is created by those willing to move, willing to risk, willing to show up when it's inconvenient and uncomfortable. The right moment is action made visible, so don't wait. Start where you are with what you have. Start with the smallest step, because that step is the difference between standing still and moving forward. When you act, you learn, you get feedback, you adjust, you grow. Hope is passive, it's a prayer. Action is active, it's work. Work means showing up when no one is watching. Work means grinding through setbacks, doubts, and fear. It means choosing discipline over distraction, perseverance over procrastination. It means proving to yourself that you're serious, because every time you act, you build trust with yourself. You tell your mind, your body, your soul, I'm reliable, I follow through. There's power in that trust. When you trust yourself to do what you say you will, you start expecting success. You stop doubting your own abilities, and that expectation shifts your energy. It pushes you to reach higher, work harder, and keep going when everything else tells you to quit. Action creates belief. It proves that hope wasn't empty, it was the spark. But the fire needs fuel, and that fuel is movement. Don't get me wrong, hope is important. It's the foundation of faith. It's what keeps you believing on the days you feel invisible. But hope is the spark before the fire. Action is the blaze that lights the way. Hope is the intention. Action is the manifestation. You can't build a house by hoping for a builder. You have to pick up the tools yourself. You have to lay brick after brick. You have to sweat and strain and keep going when the work is hard and no one's praising you. You've got to understand this. Results don't come from good intentions. They come from consistent action, from getting up every morning and doing the work even when it's boring, repetitive, and thankless. From making sacrifices nobody sees. From choosing to keep going when the easy path is to quit. That's how legacies are built. That's how mountains are climbed. That's how dreams become reality. It's the difference between wishing you were strong and training yourself to be strong. Between praying for success and working for success. Between hoping for change and making change happen. Those who only hope get stuck in cycles of frustration. Those who act move forward, even if it's one step at a time. Sometimes action feels scary. Sometimes you don't know what the next move is. Sometimes you worry it's the wrong one. But guess what? Inaction guarantees failure. Action guarantees learning. Action guarantees growth. And every step forward is a victory, no matter how small. Because forward is forward. So don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Don't wait for someone else's approval. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Action will teach you the rest. It will reveal what hope only hinted at. It will turn your dream from a distant star into a fire burning right here, right now. When you act, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You become the driver. You take control. You make things happen. You become unstoppable because you stop waiting on the world and start moving with it. Because the world rewards those who show up and do the work, not those who wait for the work to show up to them. Let your life be proof that hope is powerful, but action is powerful beyond measure. Let your results silence the doubters, including the one inside your own head who says not yet. Or wait a little longer. Because the only way to turn hope into reality is to move. To sweat, to try, to fail and try again. You want a breakthrough, act. You want a change, act. You want success, act. Hope will give you the dream, but action will give you the life. When you're standing at the crossroads of doubt and determination, waiting for someone to come and solve your problems, it's easy to feel stuck, like you're waiting on a hero to show up and rescue you. But here's the truth, there is no hero coming. The answer you're looking for, the breakthrough, the opportunity, the validation, it's inside you. You've got to build yourself into the answer. That means becoming the solution, becoming the force that moves your life forward, not waiting for a force outside of you to do it for you. This is a hard truth because it demands that you look inward and face the parts of yourself you might rather ignore. It means you can't pass the buck anymore. No more blaming circumstances. No more waiting on someone else's approval or timing. You have to become the architect of your own success, the builder of your own destiny. And that starts with commitment, not just a surface-level promise, but a deep, unshakable commitment to yourself. Building yourself into the answer requires growth. It means showing up every day ready to learn, ready to improve, ready to face the hard stuff. It means being willing to stretch beyond your comfort zone, to push past fear, to do the work when no one's watching. You have to invest in yourself, in your skills, your mindset, your health, your character. Because when you invest in those things, you become valuable, you become capable, You become the person who can turn dreams into reality. One of the biggest mistakes people make is looking for quick fixes. They want someone to hand them a solution wrapped in a neat little package, but life doesn't work like that. Solutions are built over time, brick by brick, choice by choice, failure by failure. Each struggle, each setback, each moment of doubt is part of the foundation. When you build yourself into the answer, you're building resilience, you're building strength, you're building wisdom. These things can't be bought or borrowed. They come from experience and persistence. You have to become relentless in your pursuit of growth. That means waking up early when others sleep in, reading when others watch TV, grinding when others quit. It means pushing yourself to improve your craft, to sharpen your skills, to expand your knowledge. The world doesn't owe you success. You owe it to yourself to become the person worthy of it. When you build yourself into the answer, you stop waiting for someone else to recognize your potential because you know your worth before anyone else does. Building yourself into the answer also means becoming the solution to your own problems when challenges come, and they will. You don't run or hide or blame, you face them head on, you get creative, you find a way. You become resourceful, you adapt. That's what leaders do, that's what winners do. They don't wait for instructions, they innovate. They don't wait for rescue, they rescue themselves. The power lies in realizing that you are the most important asset in your journey. Don't look outside for motivation or answers all the time. Sometimes you have to dig deep and be your own cheerleader, your own coach, your own mentor. Speak to yourself with kindness, but also with accountability. Ask yourself hard questions and don't settle for weak answers. What can I do today to move closer to my goals? How can I improve? What lesson am I missing? When you become the answer, you hold yourself to a higher standard, and that standard pushes you forward even when the road is tough. Remember, no one else will carry your vision like you will. No one else will sacrifice like you will. No one else will believe in your dream like you do. So why wait for someone else to show up when you have the power to be the driving force? When you build yourself into the answer, you create momentum. Momentum attracts opportunities, people, and resources. It commands respect. It builds confidence, and confidence breeds more action, more growth, and ultimately more success. There's freedom in this responsibility. When you own your role as the answer, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstance. You stop feeling like a passenger on someone else's journey. You take control. You lead, and leadership starts with self-leadership. Before you can lead others, you have to lead yourself. That means discipline, integrity, and courage. It means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means making decisions that serve your long-term goals, not just your immediate comfort. Building yourself into the answer means being patient but persistent. It means understanding that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, sometimes slow, sometimes painful, but it's worth it. Every moment you invest in yourself pays dividends later. Every sacrifice you make adds to your foundation. And when the world finally catches up to the work you've done in silence, you'll stand tall knowing you built it with your own hands. You have to see yourself as the answer before anyone else can. When you do that, you stop searching for shortcuts, gimmicks, or easy ways out. You stop depending on luck or timing. You create your own luck through preparation and relentless effort. You don't just hope for the door to open. You become the key. You become the force that moves mountains. You become the answer the world has been waiting for. So stop waiting for someone to fix your problems or to give you what you need. The responsibility is yours. And with that responsibility comes power. The power to change your life, to create your future, to rewrite your story. When you build yourself into the answer, you step into your own greatness. You become unstoppable because you've become the solution. You're no longer waiting on the world. You are the world moving forward.